to A Day in the Life with Ali. I am Ali. If you don't already know, if you're new to my channel, if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe and the follow button or the notification button so you get notified when I go live. Or when I post a new video. It's been a bit since I kind of just came on and chatted. I actually just did a video, and for anybody who's new, I don't know, or anybody who's old, or my normal followers and viewers, I don't know if you guys noticed, but all of my live videos that aren't streamed from another platform are gone. Even the one I just completed, outlining how to go about getting your Thailand pass. I don't know how. I sent a message. Hopefully I'll get all of that back, but nevertheless, I am here, and I kind of just wanted to come on, chat with you guys just and kind of give you an update on where I've been, what I'm doing. I'm not glammed. I don't think I have ever glammed, but I worked out this morning, and I've been sitting out here enjoying just indirect vitamin D and fresh air, and realizing how much it helps clear my mind, and trying to get some of my to-do list, my continuous to-do list done. I've had a lot of things I've been working on over the last, I don't know, guys, month, 2 months, really, since I've been here in Thailand, but technically before. Y'all know I'm almost at 2 years of being abroad, and wow, I didn't know or expect to be here. If you guys know my story, I'll just briefly tell it. In 2020, I left my job to basically do some volunteer work in Spain, and then my goal was to travel down the east coast of Africa. Well, COVID hit, and all of the volunteer work was canceled, and so I stayed at home, even though I just quit my job. I would have quit anyway. It was time. That's a video for another day that I don't even know if I've done yet. But I decided in July to take a vacation, to get out, because travel is my thing. And so when I haven't been able to travel, which I did quite a bit that year, I come back from a 21-day, what I call an air cruise in December. Completed a lot of stuff in 2019. So I came off of kind of like a stressful high, low, and needed some things to happen before, I don't know, I made my next steps, but I knew I wanted to take a break from my job. If you guys don't know, I've worked technically, legally, since I was 12 years old, with very few gaps in between those times, sometimes working multiple part-time jobs as a single mom. Years ago, my son is 31 now, and I've got 2 beautiful G babies now. So but I've worked constantly, never really been off outside of taking vacations. But one of the things that's just been like sitting with me is where I am, headspace wise, where I am right now, what my goal is. And even, I don't know if I'm going to do this now, maybe I'll talk a little bit, but I kind of want to do a whole video on the things that I've learned. It's a little hot out here, y'all, so a little perspiration. But I think I want to, chat about what I've learned on this journey. And one thing in particular is, we don't talk about it much, I think we're talking about it a lot more now, is depression. And the different forms that it shows up in your life, depending on your personality, kind of the things that you do, like the way that I move. I don't think anybody in the world would think that I would ever be a depressed person, even myself. You know, it doesn't occur to you until you actually look up the definition and you start paying attention to behaviors and, you know, downtime and sluggish moments, and, you know, when I'm completely non-productive, and, you know, when I can't get my head straight, and when I realize and can sit long enough and figure out that I'm not moving because of external things that are impacting me. And then also starting to pay attention, not starting to, but associating my body, what's happening with my body, with stress levels. And I think I was saying this in my last video, which is now deleted. For the last year, and this is just something, it's kind of like, you know, this is what, you know, one of the things I share with my health and wellness is your body will tell you different things. And so if you can kind of sit back long enough, and I have different tools to sit back and listen to your body, you'll learn different things. Well, one of the things I know about my body is my nails and my hair. So when my nails are brittle and constantly breaking, like they just would, like splitting down the middle, all of that. My hair's super brittle, not just from the sun, like it is sun and salt water from the ocean, but just brittle and all of that. I know that I'm going through something, and it's time for me to kind of circle back and figure some things out. And sometimes I don't notice it right away because I'm in it, because I'm sluggish in it, I'm mentally drained. And I realized, even though I've been gone for a year and a half, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, what an amazing journey, and it has been, y'all. I kind of would like to do it over without the stresses that I've carried with me into it. I was still carrying a lot of baggage, picking up baggage as I was going, which I don't know. That's my goal in life, is to really learn not to pick up everybody's luggage just because they're struggling to carry it themselves. Or if I do pick up their luggage and assist them, know that I am going to put it down, and they're going to have to figure out how to carry that on their own, or discard some of it, which for me is still not my responsibility to manage for someone else. And I realized that I was carrying a lot of other people's burdens and pressures, and making them my own, because I think a part of me, you know, believe that if you're doing well, you have to be in service to other people. And not really knowing what that means. Like, there's still some limits to being in service to other people, and I didn't know how to separate those limits. And being on this journey, specifically even just the last year in Africa, because I think Mexico was just a whirlwind. Mexico was just a really long vacation, expensive vacation, and it really wasn't expensive. That's another thing that I kind of mull over is I've always kind of stressed about finances, which is why I save so much money, which is, you know, what I've been doing. So I am going to do a separate video on what I learned, what I would do completely different, because this, again, was not a black sit. It wasn't an exit. It wasn't a expat move or relocation. It simply started off as a 2-week vacation to Mexico, and turned into what is now going on 19 months. And I can tell you one other thing, outside of realizing that depression comes in so many forms, and I would venture to say that probably close to everyone has or will experience some form of depression in their lives. And this journey has forced me to really kind of sit back and exhale. Stresses and all, and a lot of times people don't see the stresses because my personality really just doesn't always show it, unless, you know, maybe I'm frustrated, and even that doesn't show like my personal feeling, like frustration, like if I actually like kind of lash out or respond and lash because of a lash. um, what I'm learning now is the balance of being able to do that and still respect who I am, and how much I'm going to allow something to take me over the edge. Whereas before, back in the day, I would lash out, bam, didn't care. And then I got to a point where I just didn't say anything. And now I'm trying to find that happy medium, which I think is that tug, that high and that low of, you know, being in a depressive state, being in a heightened state because my personality is naturally heightened, kind of like all the time, but it isn't, and kind of finding myself through this journey. So anyway, just realizing that I have been going through some transitions and changes of my own in this past year, the past year and a half, but really this past 13 months. I was very aimless in Africa. I had a plan, but I just couldn't execute. I couldn't get anything done. And so when I talk about lessons learned and things that I would do different, because when I cycle back around and do this again, because I will be starting over, because I do have to, the dreaded words, I do have to return back to the States. One, I have a beautiful grandbaby that I'd love to see, as well as my son, daughter, my other grandbaby, family, parents, and my brothers, and friends and things like that, of course. Last time I was in the States for 10 days, and I think I saw one person. This time I will be there a little bit longer because I need to handle some things, but I realize, in addition to the realizing some mental highs and lows that I've experienced, and really digging into why I have those highs and lows, and why sometimes when I realized that a lot of times I wasn't doing for me. And I even think I said at some point, like, I stopped doing videos and posting, I was just doing some snippets here and there just cause, but really wasn't doing it anymore, because I realized I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it because of some obligation to someone else for something else that, something that I consistently find myself in and haven't really built, in the process of building. How do I respond to people who want something from me? And that's not the direction I was going in. But one, it could benefit me. One, it may not benefit me. Two, learning that all exposure don't pay the bills. There's got to be something more sometimes, and there's got to be hand in hand, give and take. And not to feel bad about wanting some sort of collaborative agreement with my time, and really putting some not only boundaries but value on that time, right? And understanding how 37 years in the workforce, in some form or fashion from the age of 12, really kind of tainted my view or my understanding of what this is really supposed to be like. And I think many of us function on this level where, we do things because we think that there's an expectation, or we feel obligated, or we're afraid of some loss. And this journey not only showed me that side, it showed me that this is my life. Like, I love this life. I love just moving around, and it doesn't even have to be like quick movements. I love slow travel. I could do 6 months in a different place, maybe even longer in some places, but I realized I could do 6 months. Sorry about that, you guys. I realized you guys were just staring at darkness. Mainly because the view over there is so much better, but of course the sun is reflecting. So since I'm the one talking, I guess it would be important to see me. But I realized that I have been living this nomad life, like pseudo, since I lived in Chicagoland area. You know, I had multiple places that I stayed in Chicago, and I would kind of, bounce around. This is when I had my own house, in Chicagoland area in the burbs. But even then, for like 3 or 4 years, I had friends that gave me access. I had my own rooms, my own closet, my own keys, and I moved like that always. And never really realizing that, even though that's what I wanted to do, like I knew I was gonna, my goal was to move out of the country at least a portion of the year, a good portion of the year, most of the year. uh, but I didn't realize how much, like, I needed, like, it pumps my blood. I didn't realize until this trip. I didn't realize until this trip, because this really all it is a trip. It's just a elongated, I just ain't coming home. This trip really kind of showed me it's tough to do this because I have a whole bunch of things that, I would really strongly suggest if you're truly exiting and you're relocating, because I'm working on things now 2 years later that I really should have been doing 2 years ago, but I realize even now when I look back, it seems like I wasted a lot of time, but apparently I needed that time. Apparently I needed, because they're doing a little construction, hopefully you can hear. But apparently I needed that time. Apparently I needed the downtime, but even then I didn't realize that it was downtime or that I needed it. Otherwise, I would have relaxed more. I wouldn't have been so stressed and trying to do this and do that, because there's a lot of things that I want to do over or from a different space. But I was talking about finances earlier, and it really is a driver. It's always been something that I've been afraid of. I've always maintained my own. I've always had my own house. I've always, taken care of things. I've always worked. I've never been without a job. I think since I was 12, like after I started detasseling corn, I would do that every summer, and the only time I didn't work was during the school year. And I realized even more, I have no desire to go back to traditional work, even though I will if I need to. And what I mean by that is more like online, maybe like some structured hours I have to sign in, like maybe if I ever decide to actually do, I would prefer to actually do tutoring or conversational English. That's what I would love to do. And I realized how at ease and how at peace I am. But then I also realized how I didn't even do very much of what started this journey in the first place, which was the volunteer work. I mean, I did some, but nothing like what I really wanted to engulf myself into. And so I've got so much on my mental plate right now that I can't really even focus, on what's next and outlining anything else, because I'm trying to roll out things. If you guys have been following, you are aware that I have finally rolled out my first travel course, which is really the fundamentals of getting started and planning your travel, your journey. I still do consultations. I will still do share videos and stuff like that, highlighting what you need to do, which is why I put the Thailand pass on my YouTube. I'm going to redo the video, you guys. Can't believe it's gone. And always share tidbits, because I'm always sharing, but I was informed and told many a times to monetize my information, that if it's good enough for people to want, I promise, I have been sitting out here for 3 hours working, and there was absolutely no noise. But anyway, to start there, if I really want to get to a point where I'm comfortable in requesting value for what I provide, to start by putting my knowledge in a format that other people can easily retrieve it. And so I promise, I have been writing this one course for over 10 years, which is a financial diet, which I'm going to have to take again myself. But I can still write it. Like, I know what I did back in 2010 to clear $24,000 in debt on my own, no debt consolidation company, anything. And I've been writing that. Like, I was supposed to write that 10 years ago. Y'all, imagine if I would have written that 10 years ago. But I didn't have the guidance. And one of the things I want to do now is really take all the things that I still don't know and provide, like many others I think are trying to do, but almost like stepping programs of, if you're about to do this, these are the things that, I strongly encourage, you checking into and, looking at. And as I'm doing these things, I have this habit of, I reach out to a certain group of people and I always ask, hey, have you done this? Have you invested in this? Have you heard about this? I even asked around a couple people specifically, what do you do well? Because as every day I was hearing, start a course. It's passive income. Once you roll out the course is done. Outside of modifying little things and adding modules and things like that, if you want to, the course is done. And so if you start making money and it's residual, you can keep that up there for as long as you want. You'll continuously make money from it, and you only have to do it one time. And I just never did it. And, I look back, and sometimes in my head I'm like, God, you wasted a year and a half. But then the flip side is that year and a half is gone, and I can't really focus on that. But I have to start moving forward now. And to the point of, like I was talking about, like how your body feels. I was talking about my nails growing, my hair is growing. Like my nails. These are I haven't had nails. I gotta show y'all, this is my nails. I haven't had nails in over, they weren't growing. They were cracking every time. They were splitting. And I was like, what's going on? But I knew it was my diet. I knew it was internal stresses that I was in a space when I was in Tanzania that I didn't even realize that I was really in until I left. Energy matters, and I'm a big energy seeker. That energy begets energy thing is so real for me. And so what I'm really working on doing is nipping it in the bud immediately when the energy is not right for me. Even if I'm wrong long term, it doesn't matter. In that moment, it's not right for me. So nip it. Because one of the things that happens when you don't nip it, you end up giving it your time and too much of your energy that you then have to restore on your own. Because if it's an energy depleter, it's not going to give you anything positive back. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to dish out all this stuff, feel that it's not right, and then by the time you decide, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that didn't work out, whatever it is, we're always going to have things that don't work out, y'all. So that doesn't mean don't try these things. It just means realize when something is not fitting where you're at. And that's the important thing, is we have to get to a point where we're no longer afraid of things not fitting where we're at in this moment. It doesn't mean that we don't need to work on some things to get to a point, because that may be where we need to be. But if it's not where we are at this moment in time, it's no different than being in a relationship and saying, why step into somebody's space when you aren't ready to take the responsibility of being in that person's space. And that could be male or female. We walk into people's energy spaces and we're not ready to receive them, and maybe we take them through things and then we walk and go our own ways, but we've sucked up that person's energy when we knew we weren't putting in the work on ourselves to get to a point where we could be ready too, right? And so that's the same thing with this, is relationship situations and things like that. Is really for me to learn unlearn all the things that I learned in the last 48 years before I quit my job, even 50. I'm 50 now, so I'm learning a lot of habits, a lot of ultimately bad habits in terms of um, nurturing my own happiness and realizing that my own happiness may not look like anybody else's. It may not look like my family's happiness. It may not be the life that my family wants. It may not be what my friends think I should be doing. It doesn't matter. We are important enough to ourselves to define what that is for ourselves, and to take the time to do that if you need to. And so that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just in this space of discovering that the far reaches of, mental health aren't that far reaching. Like a person right next to you, we keep seeing these things happen. And like most people, we all, a lot of us who are, more of that high spirited personality or whatever, we pretty much know or think that we can kind of work our ways ourselves out of things. But what we don't realize is that the ill effect that the denial of it has on us. And for me, it was the physical. Like I physically was drained, mentally drained, and that presented itself in my sluggishness, and then just a sluggish last, I would say, last 10 to 12 months. Really, like probably last 10 months, let me say. I would think by last March is when I really, specifically April even, when I signed a 3-month lease. I think that was, I was comfortable, but I realized, is this what I really wanted? So I just say all those things Thailand right now, and I've met some amazing people, and one of the things that as we grow in life, we want to have meaningful connections. And it's hard to have meaningful connections with people when you aren't connecting with yourself, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. And so I have committed myself to getting up every morning, making sure, like today I got up in my normal time and the gym was full. And so I was like, nope, I'm not going back downstairs. Go over to the other side and do some strength work. Y'all hope that does not come out strong in this video because it's loud. But doing some personal physical work, getting back out there, really focusing on me. I know a lot of people think, I've been about me all my life, how to take a step back. And this is, with everything, take a step back and see the real value in it. And if I can't see the value in it for me, to hold off. Doesn't mean never to do it, but to hold off. And sometimes, we live in a world where everything is like, if you don't do it right now, you're going to miss out. Sometimes I do things and I'm missing out. I'm creating the miss out. And so I want to do it for once at my own pace. I want to be truly in a space of freedom. And like a clean slate. I'm 50, so literally this year, 2022, is really a time for me to wash this slate and start again. So anyway, that's where I am, you guys. I just wanted to give a quick update. Hopefully somebody's gonna drop some things off so I can get some redos up in here and repop or whatever. But again, appreciate you guys. You guys can check for my travel course, which will be in the description below. So check for that. It's called Get Ready, Get Set, Travel. And then I also have some merchandise that I'm rolling out that is going to be linked to the travel and like my course school, which is Fantastic Journeys, which is going to encompass travel stuff, financial stuff, and it's also going to have my Eat with Ali stuff on there. So if you ever subscribe to Eat with Ali, food demos and things like that, that's going to be accessible through that same school. but I'm rolling out some merchandise, mugs, t-shirts, tanks. Somebody told me this a year ago and I didn't have it in my head. And this is one of my suggestions, going to be one of my things that I talk about. So I'm going to be rolling out some Bamtastic Journeys, merchandise with different little quotes, things that I say a lot, or want to share. And hopefully you guys like some of these things and you support. If you'd like to, go ahead and click those links. Purchase up a few things, share the travel course with other people you know are interested in traveling. Or if you just want to support me, I would love to have some clicks in there and some feedback. And then I will be rolling out the next course, which is going to be, you know, follow-up things, hair care for Black women, different things like that I want to be able to share with you guys. And then, you know, or if you just want to support my journey, you can Cash App me. That's always in the description as well. I think, well, I'll make sure it's in the description. I don't think it's been in there as of late, but you can Cash App me. I haven't started a GoFundMe. I probably should, but this has been my journey so far. This is my experience, and I appreciate you taking this walk with me, you guys. So I will be checking back in. I'm also going to establish set days. So, and I realized this too was a part, I'm just going to say this real quick, that I had been, you know, on a schedule for so long that I literally pushed back anything that told me I had to do something at certain times. And that's just the trauma of always being under someone else's kind of, you know, foot. And I realized that in this space, and I couldn't put my finger on it because I didn't know my finger needed to be on it until literally like a week ago. And I was like, wow, you have moved to events for like 2 weeks. And it's just like every time it's like I haven't committed to it, or I committed to it, but I don't feel like doing it today. And why do I have to do it? Why it's my time. But I have to, because people like to know that you're going to be somewhere or do something at a certain time. And, so I'm going to pick 2 days, and I think it's going to be Thursdays and Mondays for posting YouTube videos. I love being 13 hours a day. And then also I'll be interviewing some ladies here in Thailand. I want to be able to share that stuff with you guys too. I'm just going to start doing the things that have really been on my mind to do since I left, and I just didn't have a space for it really. I just kind of been lulling about, and clearly was something that I needed to do. So I appreciate you guys, your patience. Try to get this YouTube channel together. I'm trying to clear up some stuff or unlist old things from way back when, and get the channel so that it's got more life to it, and maybe just start all over fresh. I don't know. But for now, you can catch me here. Check back later. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get a little click when I either go live or post a new video or a short or a simple post to keep you informed about what's going on. If you have any ideas, thoughts, suggestions, please, I'm always here for it. You can email me at contactali@mindyourbodyandsoul.com, you guys, and I'm going to get out of here. You guys know the drill. Toodles and noodles, peace and hair.